Look at this. It's a millimeter. Royal baby. The Duchess of York gave birth to a 6-pound, 12-ounce baby girl in London hospital. Now, come on. Come on. That's a headline. Why are you applauding that? You didn't want to know that? Oh, cut it out. That's got to be a headline. It was screaming banners on every other newspaper. What is this Independent coming along? I'm sorry. Hey, hand her the microphone here. Just hand it to that woman. No, behind.
Behind? We would like to know how Fergie ever became able to marry one of our royal family when it is a well-known fact that she cohabitated and lived with men, and it is a possibility that she will carry on the royal lineage, and we don't think... I mean, Princess Diana, she was a virgin, but Fergie was not. Fergie was not. And I don't think she should have...
In other words, you can't marry a royal if you're not a virgin?
No. No.
Is that what you mean?
That is what I mean. If you're going to carry on our royalty, you should be a virgin.
You should be.
Definitely.
Now, how are we going to prove that? See?
Well, you did, because everyone knew that Princess Diana was a virgin, and Fergie is not. So,
yeah.
So there are ways of finding out.
Yes, there are ways of finding out. But don't you see, there's no way... Now, what? What? You want to stand for... Help me out here.
I'm afraid there are no more virgins over 14 in England anymore.
Surely the whole point of any story is to keep it in some sort of perspective. The whole point of people like Major Ronald Ferguson is he's in the public eye.
Major Ronald Ferguson. Now, you're talking about the Duchess of York's father, yes.
He's in the public eye to an extent, and he should be there to be shot at to a certain view. I mean, people like politicians, are we supposed to hide every bad thing they do because they're in the public eye and it might embarrass them? I mean, people like Stonehouse, Perfumo, they are there to be shot at. It's a question of in what perspective you shoot at them and how far down
That's right, it is.
the level you go.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. You'll stand, please. Take this, please.
In defence of all the women that have been mentioned here today, it's not for anyone to cast moral judgments on anyone else. And in defence of the Duchess of York, she's a lovely person, and I think it was common knowledge she was having an affair with Paddy McMalley for many years.
Who?
The Duchess of York. But...
Was that reported in the paper?
Yes, it was these gentlemen that bought it all and dragged it all out.
So,
you know, she doesn't have to be. Well, why not? She was very happy in a relationship, and why shouldn't she marry the prince?
Is Prince Andrew a virgin?
Ask who starts.
You ask, is Prince Andrew a virgin? Yeah. Why does Fergie have to be a virgin if Andrew doesn't? Yeah, just here, 1 second. Yeah,
I think the press in this country are far too intrusive, and in this country now we have trial by press, not by jury.
Yes, yes. Yes.
I'd like to say to Anne Diamond, good luck to you if you do end up on your own with the children. And perhaps if you do get hard up, the press will pay you for a true story.
Incidentally, Anne, have you set a date?
No, I haven't even told him yet. It's just a question of who gets to his first meal then.
We're at the London Palladium, and we'll be back in just a moment.
This Monday, the 14-hour sale at Weinstock's. Extraordinary savings for 14 hours only. This Monday at Weinstock's, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Don't miss it.
The following commercial was made by California school kids for Proposition 98. With Proposition 98, Your money won't be spent on buses, it won't be spent on more administrators, and it won't get lost in some bureaucratic maze. With Proposition 98, your money will go straight into the classroom for instructional improvement. That's where it counts.
Proposition 98. It says what it does, it does what it says.
The countdown begins Monday at 11 a.m.
T-minus 12 and counting.
For just 10 hours, you'll find astronomical savings on TVs, VCRs, and appliances in every Circuit City store.
T-minus 6.
Save on this 19-inch stereo TV with remote, just $266. This Sharp Carousel microwave, only $89 after $5 Sharp rebate. But remember, it's happening Monday only. The Circuit City 10-hour sale.
For 15 years, Call 3 has been taking on consumer problems and getting some interesting results.
I finally called Call 3, and within, I think it was a week, I had my money back.
Join us for a look at Call 3 cases that led to arrests, federal raids, and even changes in the law. You'll hear about some of the funniest rip-offs and the people who fell for them. And you'll see how some promoters reacted when Call 3 came knocking on their door. The best of Call 3, tonight when Channel 3 reports at 5.
Smelly, rotten mildew stains? Try 1, 2, 3 sprays of Tilex against 1 spray of X14. In minutes, the X14 side is dramatically cleaner without scrubbing. X14, it's better.
Select Sacramento's Family of the Year. For nomination forms, you can call the Family Service Agency.
Mr. Whitham Smith, you have been very patient. You wanted to say what, sir?
I must say that I worry very much about the extent of coverage of the royal family because I think it's on the way to destroying them. I think that we're turning them into a soap opera.
The Crown will live forever. The newspapers can't possibly...
No. I say this as a royalist, not a Republican. The voracious appetite for news about the royal family is bit by bit turning them into some other sort of people. It's so voracious, it will destroy them.
I think... Well, this takes a little bit of vanity to drop out of the sky in another country and presume to preach to Fleet Street. I think the royal family benefits from this. And to suggest that the press could destroy the royal family, if you'll just pardon this observation, I think exaggerates the power of the press. One other thing. I remember seeing a photographer, one of you, maybe it's one of you fellows, on American television, and the interviewer saying, why do you bother this woman, Princess Diana, like this? Why do you every day, you've already got her, you took her photograph yesterday, you took her today, why do you bother her all the time? Why are you doing this? And the guy looked at him and he said, you can't take enough pictures of this woman. And I thought to myself, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I'll tell you, when you run
she is gorgeous.
And when you run a picture on page 1, you automatically, my paper, the Daily Mirror, you'll sell another 75,000 copies like that.
Absolutely, yeah. What does this relentless pressure actually do to the members of the royal family? It turns some of them into nervous wrecks. It makes others... I won't say who, but I think that most of us will.
Well, I mean, who's a nervous wreck? I mean, they look pretty happy to me yesterday.
I think you're saying Princess Diana's a nervous wreck 1 minute to the next. She's anorexic, or she's, I mean...
Oh, she was.
Ridiculous.
She was.
Oh, yeah, and the Queen's been pregnant at least 8 times since...
No, wait a minute. Oh, that's not true. That's not true, actually.
Incidentally, is everything right between Charles and
I think so, yeah.
Princess Diana?
I think they're really...
was it ever not so right?
Not according to the Sunday Times yesterday, which Mr. Holden, who's written 2 biographies now entirely for money of Prince Charles, without having ever spoken to him, picked up a story from the Sunday Telegraph, which in itself was wrong, put it in his book, and the Sunday Times yesterday led their front page on this ridiculous story, saying he's going to be made governor of Hong Kong and become Prince Regent, as fact. Unfortunately, even papers like the Sunday Times are driving the royal family crazy. Andreas is absolutely right. There was a time 30 years ago when the royal family needed to be publicized. We needed to know what happened with the Queen, with the Charles, with Prince Philip. We don't need any longer. And if all the pressures get to them, we all know that Prince Charles is not a happy man. We know that the marriage with Diana has not been well because of all this.
I think it's been okay.
Thank you, Arthur.
Yeah, Charles is not a happy man?
I mean, I see him a lot more than you do, Nigel, and they look pretty happy to me.
Well, when I had breakfast with him this morning, Arthur...
Well, he's in Scotland, Nigel.
You know that? Is that a joke or is it true?
No, what I'm saying is that Prince...
That's a joke. You wouldn't know it.
But aren't you traveling now with a member of the royal family this evening?
I'm going off to Hong Kong, and so, by extraordinary coincidence, is Princess Anne, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, excuse me. Holy cow. Yeah, let me get this young woman on here.
Yeah, I'd just like to know who actually says that we are interested in the royal family, because I'm certainly not, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't.
Yes.
My name's Sue Diamond. I'm not any relation to Anne, but it'd be interesting to see if these gentlemen report accurately the exclusive on Anne Diamond today.
Yes, accurately, yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Miss Stark, perhaps you'd want to tell our audience that you're joining the convent this afternoon or something. You've got no story for us at all?
I would like to say something to endorse what Mr. Andreas Whitham Smith said regarding the Sun, well, in particular, the Queen sued the Sun newspaper some time ago, and she won her case. Now, that set a precedence. It's the first time in the history of the British monarchy that the Queen actually sued a newspaper, and the newspaper's true to form ran it that she was suing a member of her household staff. In fact, she sued the Sun newspaper and won her case.
Yes.
I think the press,
A member of the royal family to be able to do that? Do you want a member of parliament to be able to do that? Do you want a member of parliament to be able to do that?
They've never been able. They've never done it before, and it set a precedence. And I
How do you
don't think
catch
it's been
the
done
crooks
since.
if the laws allow the public servants to scare the press? Is that a...
Well, actually, they didn't sue. All they did was granted a court injunction, and we gave the Queen some money for charity, but it never got to court, and I might tell you, most of it had already appeared in the paper.
Now, my question was sort of 3 hours ago.
Well, we're glad we got you on anyway.
Phil, if you're libelled in this country, there's only 2 things you can do. One is shrug your shoulders and let them libel you, and the other one is sue. And you can't get legal aid in this country to sue for defamation. You have to afford it yourself, and it costs a fortune.
Why should you? That's my question. The gentleman wants to know why you should. I think, Anne, the question... Well, I don't know if... we don't have the time, really, to...
£100,000 to see through a libel action against the newspaper, and that's a lot of money. Yeah.
If the press were responsible, you wouldn't need to sue them.
Yes.
We've been discussing sort of like the power of the press in terms of royalty and personal relationships. But what about the political power of the press in terms of racist attitudes? For instance, The Sun. We briefly touched on sexism as well. I think that needs to be addressed.
Sir.
I just want to say that I don't understand why everybody really cares about the royal family in this country. I'm from New York, and when they showed Fergie having the baby, holding it out the window, and hundreds of thousands of people watching, clapping at the window, it's a joke in the United States. Like, why do people care?
I didn't say it hung out of any window.
Well, so she was waving or something.
She was waving,
My good man, the crown rests at the center of the soul of this country. I'll only take a moment.
But the royal family...
For you to stand up like somebody from Yankee Stadium saying, I don't know what. Wait a minute. You come very close to confirming what ought to... Have you ever heard of the ugly American?
I'm over here working in this country on an exchange program, and I see how much tax is taken out of everybody's paycheck, about 35%. And then I see Princess Di in a designer ski suit, 40%. And she's just laughing, oh, take my picture as much as you want. I'm getting all your tax money in my pocket.
And we'll be back to the Palladium in London in just a moment. Well, I have time, sadly, only time, to thank you, this audience especially. You have, I'll tell you, you put the lie to all the rumors. They told me you would just sit there. They'll never be able to accuse you of that. And now let us leave you today, our first day here in Britain, with this look at London and surrounding area. Goodbye, everybody, from the Palladium.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.